start off with ITC, which has announced that today, Jan 6th, is the record date for its hotel business demerger with the parent. Now, the news suggests that every 10 shares of ITC will fetch investors 1 share of the newly demerged entity. ITC shares, what is the outlook and how do you view this development of the demerger finally going through, Akshay?
Yeah. So the demerger is a positive development if you are a holder of ITC shares in the cash market. But if you are looking at the stock from a short-term perspective, especially for one who is keen on the futures and options segment, I believe I don't see much of an upside if you are a short-term trader with a time horizon of a week or so, because of the corporate action, we might see some bit of a slowdown in terms of the price action, which in case the prices might see downside till 470 75 odd level. So that's a temporary downside which I see. Otherwise, from a long-term perspective, it's the demerger is really good news for those holding who held ITC shares. And if you were to look at ITC single stock per se, then I believe the price structure is strong. 460 somewhere is the support which has been chalked out in the last few days, and eventually the stock should see higher levels of 500 plus in the days to come.
Okay, but what happens to the share price of ITC post the demerger when the hotel business is taken away? Are we going to see a reduction in the share price of ITC in the days ahead?
Yes. See, I don't think it's going to matter much, because 1 is to 10 is the ratio for the demerger. So that's how it works out. And I don't think, yes, post the corporate action, the ITC shares should open lower, because I believe today is the day where by the end of the day, the opening tomorrow might see ITC on the lower end, but that is because of corporate action. And those who are entitled to receive ITC hotels will have those shares credited to their demat account. So it's more of a corporate action. It doesn't result in loss of value to any investor. Yes, per se, if you're an options or a futures trader, then your contract has already expired in the prior trading session. That's on 3rd, and new contracts of ITC would be opening on the 6th. So the first hour would be for price discovery, where your new lot sizes, your new lots, your new strikes for options will be determined for futures and options. New contracts would start for the next 3 months. So it's a new game entirely if you are a futures and options trader. But for long-term investors, I believe the value continues to hold in ITC as it stands right now.
All right, no loss in value for ITC is the word coming in from Akshay. Akshay, let's shift focus to HDFC Bank, which has reported a 3% rise in gross advances and almost a 16% or 15.8% increase in deposits for the December ended quarter. On your charts, is HDFC Bank a bet that you would expect investors to take today?
The numbers which you just mentioned are positive, but if you look at the reaction post opening for HDFC Bank, it's a lukewarm reaction to the numbers. And on the price charts, an important development on Friday's trading was that an important short-term support level of 1772 was breached. So that's a slight negative development if you are an intraday trader, or if you have a short-term vision for the stock to buy for some trading gains in the futures and options segment. The short-term momentum has been lost with the breakdown which we saw in the prior trading session. This might see the stock slightly correcting till the levels of 1700 or 1690. So that's more of a short-term trading perspective. A slight dip of 30-40 points cannot be ruled out. So if you want to buy HDFC Bank, I would suggest wait for those dips, and then we will review it at those support levels.
Right, wait for dips on HDFC Bank. Let's stay with the finance sector and move on to Bajaj Finance. Bajaj Finance has reported a year-on-year 28% rise in assets under management for the October to December quarter. AUM for Bajaj Finance now stands at almost 4 lakh crore rupees. What is the outlook on Bajaj Finance, Akshay?
This stock has surprised many with the kind of start this stock has taken for the year 2025. An absolutely rocking start. We did see very strong price momentum a couple of days back from the levels of 7,000 to 7,400 in just a matter of a single day. And if you were to pull up the longer term charts of Bajaj Finance, I believe right from the year 2022, this stock has been kind of facing resilience time and again at the levels of of 8,000 and a support somewhere around 6,900. So it's been more of a broader range bound journey. But if you look from at the charts from a longer term perspective, something big is cooking up in this stock, and this stock is heading for a major breakout which stands above the levels of 8,000. So expect breakout of 8,000 in the days to come, where you will see a strong bout of momentum, and I won't be surprised if this stock moves up near the levels of 9,500 plus from a long term perspective. So this is a share which you should consider having it in your portfolio. Breakout traders can time it or preempt it. 8,000 is breakout is in the making, and 9,500 plus targets, or rather 10,000, is what you can expect soon in Bajaj Finance.
Timelines for that, Akshay? You're saying 8,000 as the breakout and stock going up to 10,000. What timeline should investors really look at?
So if you are a momentum trader, right now, as I see, 7,800 is possible in the next month itself. And if you're really looking for a very long-term 10,000 kind of target, I think you should give minimum 1 year of time for this stock to test those target. If you look at the charts, as I mentioned, it's been 4 long years where the stock has been consolidating. So whenever this breakout, if it happens by February or so, 8,000 levels are breached, then it won't take more than 6 to 8 months to reach levels of 10,000, because it's been for 4 long years of consolidation. And whenever a stock breaks out of such a long consolidation, expect targets to move at a very rapid pace.
All right, let's shift focus now to Adani Wilmar. Its revenue for the December ended quarter grew 33% on the back of just a 6% jump in volumes. Many would attribute that to inflation, especially in cooking oil. But Adani Wilmar on your radar today, Akshay, what does one do with that stock?
Well, honestly, from a short-term trading perspective, I do not see any trading opportunities because of the choppy nature of the stock. So really, if you kind of plan to hold the stock, really you need to give a lot of time. Minimum 3 months plus is the time horizon you should consider, because the stock has been finding some kind of support at the levels of 280 to 85 odd zone, and there has been a tendency of a slight rebound till the levels of 400 from these supports which I mentioned. I wouldn't recommend buying fresh. If someone is holding, keep a stop loss below the supports I mentioned and take an exit on a bounce back near 400. So that's the trade which is pretty evident. I would be more keen on other stocks in the Adani group, like an Adani Ports or an Adani Enterprise, if one wants to kind of take a punt on the Adani group. So those are better placed on the price charts than Adani Wilmar.
All right, other Adani stocks, not Wilmar particularly. Well, let's move on to HUL now. The FMCG major is in talks to acquire the direct-to-customer skincare startup called Minimalist for 3,000 crore rupees. Is this something which is likely to have any impact on the stock? 3,000 crore rupees for HUL, not really, not pocket change, but not a big deal as well.
The stock is trying to find its support, or trying to find a temporary short-term bottom, because if you look at the entire consumer durables or the FMCG pack, they have taken a beating in the last couple of months. Some respite has been seen in many of the names in the last few trading sessions, and with the budget round the corner, there will be talks of consumer spending, and consumer stocks should be in the limelight as we near the budget day. So HUL is one such stock which might see some bit of respite or a bounce back from the levels of 2320, where it is kind of build a short-term support. Recovery attempt can see the stock heading for 2,500, but as of now, it's more of a recovery attempt. So the view is not to go for any positional or long-term buying. 2,500 is the point where you can consider an exit, and might as well consider other stocks from the FMCG pack, like an ITC or a Tata Consumer or a Dabur, which has more potential in terms of price growth over a longer term horizon.
All right, so let us talk about Dabur since you mentioned that. Well, HUL's competitor Dabur is expecting revenue growth of just low single digits for the December quarter. What should one do with Dabur?
So, if you look at the charts of Dabur, the longer term charts has one key feature that time and again there has been some demand emerging at the levels of 500 to 490 zone. So that level has held strong since 2022. And once again, we are nearing those key support zones, and looking at the historical price pattern, there is a tendency that this stock will try to kind of revert or kind of stage a bounce back once it hits the support zone. So this is more from a slightly longer term perspective. Minimum 3 month plus view is what you need to have if you plan to take a view or a buy view on this stock. It is not for short term trading. My sense is it should take a rebound again from levels of 490 to 500, which in case if it does, then 540, 570 may be the targets in the making. But again, have time, have patience. Minimum 3 month plus horizon is what I look forward to if these targets are to be hit.
All right, 3 month horizon for the share to be in the vicinity of 540 to 570. The last stock that we have, which is in the news today, is NTPC Renewable Energy Limited, which is actually a wholly owned subsidiary of NTPC Green Energy, and it has emerged as a successful bidder in the e-reverse auction conducted by the UP Power Corporation Limited. The tender was aimed at selection of solar power developers for setting up a 2000 megawatt ISTS connected solar PV project in India under the tariff-based competitive bidding. This was conducted on Friday, the 3rd of Jan. NTPC Green, a stock which should be on investors' radar for the medium to long term?
Definitely, the green energy theme is catching up well, and it's a more of a futuristic theme. But many market gurus have already started kind of punting big on this theme. If you have a longer term vision in on this particular sector or the stock, I believe this is the best sector to be invested in. Obviously, when we speak long term, minimum we are speaking about 2 years plus of time horizon. This is more of a new listing, so on technical price charts, the kind of data available to me, I would not do more justice commenting on this in terms of its long-term targets, but definitely green energy theme is the theme one should be looking out for. That's the space one should be invested in because there is a good scope that it will give better returns over the days to come.
Right, Akshay Bhagwat, Senior VP at JM Financial. Thank you so much for taking time out on this Monday morning and joining us here on Morning Brief at 9.